questions, please.
Joey, how disappointed are you couldn't hang on today?
Yeah, it's disappointing. I'm actually probably more disappointed today than I was when we had 70 points put on us from Warrington about 5 weeks ago. I thought we showed a lot of mental toughness to get ourselves back after being down 16-0 after 16 minutes and going into half time. It was really clear what we needed to do. We just went away from it and probably overplayed the situation a little bit, trying to manufacture some things that weren't there, and lost our head, lost our cool. So it's a little bit frustrating to end, but fair credit goes to Bradford and Coach Lowe for their efforts. Let's not take away what they did out there too. Manufactoa came on and just ripped us apart, and was a turning point for them. So whilst I'm disappointing, credit goes to Bradford for what they did in that last 25 minutes.
Would you say that lack of composure could be quite a common thing with such a young side, so many inexperienced players who haven't been in that winning position?
I think if you look at it, and it's our last game, so I want to. I don't want to be too negative because there's been some outstanding players and people at our club, but if you have a mission statement for our team, it probably has surrounded itself about lack of mental toughness, and that's probably just, that's what happens when you don't know how to win or you forget how to win. Sometimes you just go into habit, and we're creatures of nature, and we couldn't withstand the momentum that Bradford had in that last 15-20 minutes. They played a open style of football. They threw the ball. They were throwing it out the back, and more times than not, they probably stuck than what they would have stuck of in other games this year. So, yeah, tough one to answer.
Josh Drinkwater scores with 10 minutes to go, Joey, and I saw your reaction. Did you think the game was won there, or were we still? You go ahead 36-34, would you think?
Yeah, I was certainly happy when Driggy scored. I said to Danny Ward after that try on the sideline, I said, whoever scores next wins the game, and ultimately it was, that's what happened. I thought the game was far from won from both teams at that stage, but nevertheless it was good to get back in front, and I was pretty happy when Driggy did score that try and kick the goal to go 2 points in front.
But your half-backs, both half-backs played very well today.
Yeah, they did, and probably just demonstrates how good of a player Josh Drinkwater is, and he's certainly a Super League player, certainly an NRL player, so I'm sure that there'll be happier days or happier seasons for Josh, and Joey Keys, give him an off-season, we're going to see a pretty special, talented kid, albeit that he's going to be a target, but we just have to deal with that.
What did you make of the young lad, the fullback, Alex Wood?
Oh yeah, I congratulated him. I shook his hand when he ran onto the pitch, and I said, "You deserve this." He's a kid that not many people know about. He played his first game for London Broncos in the last round of last year's under-19s academy team, and has played this year and scored 22 tries, 3 hat-tricks in a side that finished way down on the ladder. So the way that he positioned himself and his level of maturity exceeds his age, and that last catch that he took, I've seen international players drop those catches in such a vital part of the game, and I see you all shaking, nodding your heads, and it was unbelievable. That kick that Gale put up, that nearly brought snow down and on that spiral, and the way that he just handled himself with the composure just demonstrates that London Broncos, we have got some decent kids coming through our program, and to have 9 London Broncos kids, and I'm talking about kids that have played in our academy and scholarship programs in our squad of 13, just demonstrates that we are doing something special here, and it's going to get bigger and better and bolder in London. Well, in my time, for my next 2 years, I'm going to be here anyway.
Joe, it's interesting because a lot of the lads, you really are shaping up as a strong squad for next season, and all the young lads coming through, that does encourage hopes that you can really launch a push for promotion.
100%. And the other thing is, and you touch on a really good point, that the players that we've retained at our club are all players that have played, we've seen in week out, apart from Alex Walker, we've seen 2 or 3 games, and they don't look out of depth playing Super League, first grade. The younger kids we've signed and brought to our clubs are from elite programs, the Warringtonses, the St Helenases, the Leedses, and players like that. So what we've got our London kids mixed with some enthusiasm and young players from other elite programs, mixed with some really experienced players, whether it be here from the UK or abroad. So it gives us a really good cross-section of enthusiasm and youth, as well as experience and maturity. So as you can tell by my voice, I'm pretty excited about what next year holds. As David Hughes and Jason, our general manager, we're all on the same page, and backroom staff. So it's good times for the London Broncos fans.
I think there's just 3 full-time squads in the top.
Correct. Yep.
So you would expect those 3 to be really pushing, wouldn't you? Bradford obviously one.
David, before I accepted the position, I spoke to David, and I asked David what his intentions were for London Broncos, and it was quite clear and fair and reasonable that we need to finish up the top, and obviously we need to finish in the top 4 to give ourselves an opportunity to compete against the after round 23 against the Super League bottom 4 teams, if you like. So it was made apparent to me that we are going to be full time. We are going to use the cap. So already we've got a massive advantage over the remainder of the championship teams that aren't using their full cap or aren't full time. So it's certainly a goal of mine and a lot of other clubs to finish in the top 4. But the fact that we're going to have a pre-season, we haven't had a pre-season for 2 years, and the fact that we're just about done on recruitment and retention, I can't promise where we're going to finish next year, but what I can promise the London fans and our supporters is that we're going to have a squad assembled, 25 players, and we're going to start training on the 3rd of November as a squad, which we haven't been able to do for 2 years. And that'll give us the best chance available. Given a lot of luck and some injuries, it's going to give us a real good opportunity to get up that top part of the ladder next year.
Joey, can I just ask about Alex Walker again?
Yep.
Were you confident from what you'd seen that he would cope, knowing that they'd target him with those bombs? And what concerned you? What was in the back of your mind sending him out there? As such, he looks about 12.
He does, and to be respectful to him, he's as thick as a twig. But I've seen him play. I've got a good relationship with the under-19s staff, and when they play at home, I always go and watch a home game, and he plays exactly the same. They put a bomb up and they target him, but he's just resilient. He just keeps on getting up. I was conscious that once Alex Walker, and I spoke to my our media people about starting Alex Walker and so forth, so I didn't want to try and hide him with smoke and mirrors, but I was quite confident with him because he's a funny character where you just can't get to him. He catches the ball and he's evasive. He's not the most. He doesn't come across very confident as far as a demeanour, but when he's at training, he just doesn't look out of place with the other first graders. So I guess to answer your question is that what I've seen him do out there, he's been doing for the season in the under-19. So I was quite confident that he would stand up to the challenge. In fact, I wish he would have had a few more opportunities because a lot of the people didn't really see the real Alex Walker.
It was quiet first half. It wasn't that much.
Yeah, it wasn't really too much opportunity. We had a plan in the first half, and it was pretty obvious we wanted to target their right edge, which takes Alex out of the way or out of the game because he's usually out the back line, out the back of a pass. So, he's going to be. We need to put about 4 or 5 kilos on him in the off-season, and I'm sure he'll be a capable player next year. And working with Richie Mathers next year, I think that Richie Mathers will take him under his wing and just develop him as a rugby league player, which is going to be fantastic news for us.
Joey, obviously you talk a lot about the squad for next season,
Yep.
the young players, but there are obviously a lot of players that played their last game.
Correct.
Today. Matt Cook, for example, the captain.
Outstanding today, Matty Cook.
Do you want to say anything about the guys that are leaving, how much you've enjoyed working with those that are moving on to practice next?
It's you touch on a point that I'm glad, because I was going to raise that at the interview anyway, because I spoke to the players after the game and it's pretty quiet in there. Given that we've had a unfortunate season, it's been disappointing in some areas. It was very quiet, and obviously that's what happens when you lose. But these guys wear their heart on their sleeves, and 17 players will be moving on. Players like Ossie Krasnicki, who won't be at our club next year, Urjon Delaby, Matt Cook, just to name a few, and I apologise if I've missed some of the others, Mike McMeekin. And I thank them for respecting me as a coach. It's very difficult to come over in February, and for whatever reason, David decided that I'd take over from Coach Ray round 12, and it's very, very difficult to take over a team mid-season when you're struggling and trying to get results. But what these teams always done, irrespective of us not winning a game for months at a time, is that they have respected me and they have adhered to what I was trying to do as a culture. They knew where we were. They knew the circumstances surrounding the club, and the lack of performances probably didn't help them in their own motivation. However, we had a very, very good morale. We never had any white anting. We never had anyone turn on anyone at training or away from the training pitch. And sometimes success isn't always measured by the amount of china in the cabinet. And we've taken a really, really, responsible look at ourselves this year, and there are reasons why we didn't succeed. But the players have always supported, agreed, and respected what I intend to do. Me and my backroom staff were trying to do. So it's sad for them, because we've got guys that have been at this club for 7 or 8, 9 years. But that's unfortunately rugby league, and I'm in this job now to make decisions on recruitment and retention. So whilst it's sad, there's going to be a lot of players that go on to bigger and better things at other clubs. With 4 players are going to Cass, and they're going to be a mighty club in the next couple of seasons. Those guys that won't be representing or playing in the London colours next year.
What about yourself now, Joey? Do you have a break, or are you back on the tapes?
No, mate. I'll don't want to. It's a bit silly, but I will end up doing the video. Obviously, I won't be showing. I'm a little bit ADD, where I've got a number of processes that I go through each week, and I reckon if I don't do this video one last time, I probably won't sleep. People find that hard to believe, but it's just the makeup of me as a person. But the players that are going to be here in our club will train up until the 3rd of October. The players that aren't contracted at our club, some are moving on straight away. Some people are going back abroad, and some players are going to their new clubs in the next couple of weeks. But for the players that are contracted to the London Broncos, will continue to train up until the 3rd of October, at which time they'll have a 4-week break and recommence on the 3rd of November.